It's Girl About Library, and I'm here today with the Spooky Scary Book Tag. I don't read scary books very often, so I had to dig kind of deep for some of these answers, but I thought of some great books that I don't get to talk about very often because I either haven't read them recently or they just haven't come up in other tags. So I love the questions that are in this tag. It was created by Clever Fox, and I'll be sure to link her original tag video below. Question number 1. What goes bump in the night? Name a book that has legitimately scared you while reading it. I don't tend to get jumpy while I'm reading a book. It's more of a feeling that just sits with me after I've finished a book. And there are definitely books that creep me out enough that in the middle of the night when you wake up and you can't go back to sleep, that's the book that you're thinking about. And most recently that book for me was Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. This is a thriller about a couple named Jack and Grace. To all appearances, it seems as though Jack and Grace have this perfect marriage, but as a reader it becomes pretty obvious, within the first 5 or 10 pages, that this is not, I don't want to spoil anything, because this is one of those books that gives itself away within the first 5 or 10 pages, but the way that the author unfolds that story to you is the best part about reading this book, the reading experience, and so I don't want to ruin it, but the scenes in this book were incredibly creepy to me. I had this overwhelming feeling of panic and being trapped when I was reading this book that I could not shake. And it's also one of those books that you want to tell other people about, but you don't want to ruin it for them either. This might not be the most eloquent book ever written, but it is incredibly suspenseful. It is an excellent thriller and it is well loved for a reason. And it is also terrifying. Question number 2, Jack-o'-lanterns and classic costumes, a book you always reach for during Halloween time. I'm not much of a rereader, but I do love reading scary books or thrillers around this time of the year. I have read some really good ones in the past that I definitely think you should check out. Bird Box, which I have a 60-second book review, and I will link that above and below, as well as The Road, which is terrifying and not that long of a read. You could probably get it done in a day or two, and it is a great Halloween read. Mystic River by Dennis Lehane, if you enjoy a more murder mystery, family drama type vibe. And also The Passage by Justin Cronin, which is my favorite zombie apocalypse novel. Question number 3, Black Cats and Magic Mirrors, a book you love that is laced with superstition and or magic. It's not quite magic. It's ghosts though. And that's Lincoln in the Bardo by George Saunders, which I absolutely loved. This is a historical fiction novel about Willie Lincoln and his father, Abraham. If you don't tend to like spooky ghost stories, but you'd still like some ghosts in your Halloween reading, this is a great pick for that. But I also think this book has kind of a fairly particular audience. You do need to enjoy historical fiction, and also it's a little bit of a tough read, I'm not gonna lie. It has a different format than your typical fiction book, and this might test some of your reader's skills, but for me as a reader, it was completely worth the effort that I put into it. Question number 4, Witch's Brew. Favorite witch character in any book or series? Hermione. Easy, easy. She's the best. She's the best of us. She's also my favorite Harry Potter character. I can remember when those books came out and I was in middle school. I mean, I've come to love the whole crew of Harry Potter, but when I first started reading them, I would literally just skip through to the Hermione parts because she was my fave. Number 5, Ghouls and Ghosts, a book that still haunts you to this day, good or bad? Ooh, that is a good question. I think the book that has stuck with me the longest and really hit me is Room by Emma Donoghue for a couple of reasons. One, that happens to people. Oh, if you're not familiar with the book, Room is about a woman who is kidnapped when she is a teenager. I think she was 16 or 17 when she's kidnapped. She gives birth to a son, and then the story begins when he is about 4 or 5 years old with them stuck in this room. And I think just knowing that there is someone living that right now, that definitely just changed my perception of the book, because while it's not a true story, it is also a very possible story. And I think also being a mom of a son, that book stuck with me in a good way because there are tons of encouraging messages to me in that book about how strong the bond is between a mom and her child. And sometimes I think about it, like when my son and I are bored at home and we have like an endless supply of toys and all kinds of like things that we could watch and do together. And I just think like all we need is each other. That might be a little bit dramatic, but books get you like that sometimes. Number 6, Haunted Graveyard. You're all alone in a haunted graveyard. Never. Nope. You get one book to give you comfort. Which is it? That for me would either be Bossy Pants by Tina Fey or Yes Please by Amy Poehler. Ooh, or Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. All 3 of those books were laugh out loud, funny reads for me. I love all of those women. I think they are incredibly talented. And they're really generous in the memoirs that they wrote as far as the stories that they told about themselves. You really get a peek kind of behind the curtain, and I really enjoyed reading them. They are just all so amazingly talented, and I just think that in that moment of me being alone in a haunted graveyard, I need some laughs and I would need some encouragement, and I think all 3 of those books, I guess I'm only going to take one. One of those 3 would be perfect. Question number 7, the undead. Favorite supernatural creatures to read about, i.e. vamps. That's a fun way to say vampire. I'm going to say that from now on. Zombies, werewolves, etc. My favorite is definitely zombies. And that is because usually in zombie type books, like The Passage for example, the book isn't about, like, it's not going to be from the perspective of zombies typically. It's going to be from the perspective of people who are like surviving the zombie apocalypse. I have a really hard time suspending disbelief and reading a book that's from the perspective of a vampire or from the perspective of a witch or some other kind of magical creature. That's just not my jam. So when the focus isn't on that element of the story, I tend to enjoy the book much more. Number 8, in the dead of the night, pick a book with a black cover. I picked The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. It's kind of black. There's a lot of black on the back, but this is a good thriller book that I haven't read yet. I have a copy. It's been sitting on my TBR shelf. I've even watched the movie, but I haven't read the book yet, and I really, really want to. If you've read this and you've seen the movie, comment down below. Give me some encouragement so that I will read this thing, because I loved the movie, and if you're looking for a good thriller to watch this time of year, I highly recommend it, but I haven't read the book yet, and I feel I have some guilty feelings about that. And last but not least, number 9, Trick or Treat. Treat. If I was trick-or-treating and I got trick, what does that even mean, to get the trick instead of the treat? Does that mean like someone's gonna pull a quarter out from behind my ear? No. Treat. Treat for sure. Alrighty, that's it guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more bookish content. I hope you guys have a great Halloween season, and thanks for watching.